Great. We've just seen that it's quite difficult to bring oxygen through a liquid layer. So what is the magic behind Granulox and how did we solve the problem? And to be very honest with you, it wasn't us who solved the problem. It was invented somehow 46 million years ago by nature. Look at this complex molecule. This complex molecule is responsible for transporting 600 to 800 liters of oxygen on a daily basis from our lungs to wherever it's needed in the body. And this molecule, hemoglobin, gives our blood the characteristic red color and helps us to transport oxygen to wherever it's needed. And the idea behind Granulox is if hemoglobin is able to transport the oxygen within the body, why shouldn't it be able to help also transport oxygen out of our body from the ambient air down to the wound base? And that was the starting point for our Granulox development. Some chemical facts about oxygen and hemoglobin. We've seen that you can solute only 8 milligram per liter oxygen in water without any further substances. If you attach hemoglobin to oxygen, then you are able to solve the 25 times higher amount of oxygen in water. So we can solve more than 200 milligram oxygen in 1 liter of water. And this is, as mentioned, 25 times more than in water alone. But this is not the only effect. The more fascinating effect is the following. In 1960, a German researcher, Scholander, published a paper in Science, and he did a quite simple experiment. He started with having 2 different compartments, the upper one filled with concentrated oxygen and the lower one concentrated nitrogen, and divided both compartments by a membrane he soaked with water. And he could see that almost no oxygen made it from the upper compartment to the lower compartment. Normally we would expect that the concentration somehow come to an equilibrium in both compartments. This is called diffusion. But the water-soaked membrane worked like a fantastic diffusion barrier and did not allow for any oxygen to pass. And then in the second setting he thought, why not trying hemoglobin? Perhaps hemoglobin is able to transport oxygen also if it's freed from the erythrocytes, and we are talking just about the molecule itself, not a red blood cell, no blood, just one highly purified molecule. And he repeated this experiment, and this time he soaked the membrane not with water alone, but with water plus 10% hemoglobin. And surprisingly, he found that in this experimental setup, an 8 times higher amount of oxygen made its way from the upper compartment to the lower compartment. We increased it by 800%, and this is what we call facilitated diffusion, which is the basic idea behind Granulox.